Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Tuesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite. Today is Tuesday, the 16th of September 2025 at 11 a.m. UK time. We go for about an hour where we'll look at today's daily quota. We'll look at the weather in the UK, and then we'll have a look at see what is happening in the news in regards to the UK. We're going to be going from backwards. We're going to be going from Barline Times, Telegraph Times, Financial Times, the iPaper, Independent, BBC, Sky News, and then finally the Guardian, guys. And we're going to go going for about an hour long again, just to remind people. Billy Kershaw, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. I'm just lurking. That's all right. I was lurking in on Davey's channel this morning as well. Person Impersonator, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Ellie, as well. Hope you are doing well. Good morning, Stephen Banker. Good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Anybody else who may be lurking in the chats? I just want to let people know I'm a little bit tired because not only did I do my walk this morning, but I did them in my boots. And so that's had a bit of a strain on my feet. So my feet are like a bit like owie a bit this morning. I really shouldn't complain because, you know, I'm definitely not got the strength of other people. And I also recorded a bunch of good news videos as well. So I've got some other recordings to do as well as wrestling content I need to do today. Just also a quick reminder before we get going as well. I'll be live later on today at 6 p.m. for Global News. So if you guys want to join me for that, you're also welcome to join me there as well. So here is today's daily quota. Here it is, guys. So you guys know, I never make them up. It's not my words. This is the words of what they are here. A wee bud, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. So this is from Karen Salmonson. I think I said that right. And the quotation goes like this. Always remember that you have it within you to rise above whatever may presently be bringing you down. So always remember that you have it within you to rise above whatever may presently be bringing you down. That's a lovely quote from Karen there. Very nice one there from Karen. Interesting one for tomorrow. Okay. That's an interesting one for tomorrow. But you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see that one there, guys. Indie Duck, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Alston Kier as well, good to see you there as well. And anybody else who may be lurking in the chats. Right, let's go to the weather, guys, and see what's happening with the weather today. Weather report. Here we go. So this is currently 7 o'clock today, is what the temperatures look like and where the rain is forecast. As always, it never puts on the wind, which is very, very annoying there. But we just have a quick look at Europe, and you can see there. Madrid 30, nice and toasty. Rome 24 there. Nice 24 there. Paris 16, Prague 15, Berlin 15, Warsaw 16, and Oslo there 13. But in the UK, as you can see, we saw that a bit yesterday, that big massive rainstorm out in the ocean there. London, Manchester, Belfast, Edinburgh, all decent temperatures, 14 and 16 respectively today. If we zoom a little bit further in, we can see there are some scattered showers here and there. I did not experience any showers this morning, although there may be some scattered. I may get some a bit later on. But obviously, if you're down on the coast of England, parts of England, and parts of Wales, you'll definitely experience them a bit later on. You may experience them overnight as well, possibly. So there's possibly a possibility of getting rain overnight as well. But temperatures are not too much of a fizzle. But there is definitely wind. There's definitely plenty of wind around. So just be a little bit careful of that. I will say again, bear in mind, obviously, if you are using public transport, that might be a bit problematic for you as well there. You can see their temperatures and wind is not too bad. Even up in Glasgow for the evening, for tonight, it's not too bad. A bit of scattered showers here and there and around, but nothing too serious there for today. Now, as for tomorrow, actually, we'll scroll back out. So we'll see what happens with that rain. It's going to come overnight from the looks of it there. This is overnight here, 4 o'clock in the morning. This is what it's going to be. So there's going to be some storms hitting Ireland, Wales, parts of England there, and it's going to start getting into some parts of it are going to shower over into Scotland in the Wednesday morning there from the looks of it there as well. Dismiss. I don't know what's going on with that tab. Just something going on one of my tabs there. But yeah, those are some. So we're going to be getting some rain overnight and whatnot, which means we're going to be getting quite some heavy rain as well. Temperature's not going to be too much of a bother. It's more about the wind and the rain more than anything there. So tomorrow, just be aware of that storm coming in. Going to be coming overnight in most parts of the UK, and for Scotland it'll be a little bit later on. But again, temperatures and winds there, you can see some of the numbers are not too bothersome. Still quite fairly decent warm temperatures, 18, 19 degrees in some parts of England there, which is quite odd. But even there. Up in Scotland there, Glasgow and Edinburgh 16, 15 respectively there, but there'll be some scattered showers even around for Wednesday afternoon, for you guys up there as well. Temperatures again 14, 13, 14, nothing too big there, but you can see again that big shower storm at the top north of really far north of Scotland there. We can see there, but not too bad. But yeah, it's pretty much the overnight is going to be it there. If we have a look at Thursday here, so we'll have a look at Thursday. Overnight into Thursday, there will be a bit of rain coming in, but it's not going to affect coming in from the Midland into the mid and north of England there, but nothing else really. Probably going to be very cloudy, probably a bit windy, but most parts of the UK over Thursday is mainly going to be dry in most parts. Some parts obviously going to have some showers. Most parts it's just going to be windy and cloudy in most parts of the UK. You can see there. Temperatures for Thursday, I did say it was going to be quite warmer, and you can see there London 21, some parts there 21 degrees, so much warmer. I did say it was going to be quite warm for September as well, of all things as well, which is very, very odd. So yeah, that's not going to be ideal. The humidity, you don't want that, but yeah, you can see there 19, 20 degrees, so a bit warmer on the Thursday there in some parts of the UK there. Temperatures 20, 21 there, 22 in Norwich. Norwich is experiencing much warmer temperatures according to them. But going a bit further up, there's still some parts there in Thursday afternoon again. But there will be some showers in some parts of the UK. Maybe some little bits may trickle into Scotland possibly later on in the day. You can see, yeah, there's a little bit there. But Glasgow and Edinburgh 15 and 17 respectfully there. But most temperatures in most parts are not too bad. But still, Aberdeen 18, Stonehaven 16. That's not too bad temperatures there. But that's some of them there. Just say thank you, Alison Keir, for the £2 super chat. Really appreciate that to help get to the Democratic Penguins Republic. For those who are new here, this is for Pingu, and he's Democratic Penguins Republic. I must find I got to get a new video for the DPR. I need to get a new video for them. Let's have a quick look at Friday just for reference, guys. Won't dive too much into it until tomorrow, but we'll just have a quick look here. So overnight here on the temperatures here, nothing. Yeah, there'll be a bit of rain and whatnot, but most parts of the UK is not going to experience it too much. Scotland will get a few scattered showers here and there, but overall Friday's not going to be too bad. But temperatures there, you can see there, London, 23 degrees on Friday. Friday evening will be 21 degrees, but still, Friday, 23 degrees in London. Oh, God, blimey. Paris, 26, Brussels, 26 there for Friday as well. I did say it was going to be quite warm, but you can see the temperatures for the rest of Europe on the Friday. Lots of nations are going to be getting that. Berlin, 23, Warsaw, Berlin, 23 in September. Like, that's just not normal. So, those are some of the temperatures on the Friday. We'll look at that closely a bit more as we get closer to that day, guys, because obviously sometimes it fluctuates the projections as we get closer to those days, just for reference there. It's over 70 degrees at my house. The only temperature I obsess over, says person impersonator. Yep, that's totally fine. And butterflies, yes, butterflies, Ellie, yes. There. Good morning, Scott. Hope you are doing well. Anybody else lurking in the chats as well, if I didn't get a chance to say hello. Right, we're going to start with Byline Times, see what some of the stories they're going to be going there, and then we'll cross-reference with other media outlets, because we're doing UK specifically today. This is what they got on the front on their website, Byline Times here. From Maggie to MAGA, an exclusive there. The radical right are now true heirs to Thatcher. The skinheads are suits we need to worry about. The Conservatives should not try to turn into the British MAGA. McSweeney's Todd's Demon Barber stylish. That's a very good picture there. That is very good one there. So some of the exclusives to the digital and print edition: the grave that lies inside him. Lawless Britain, a racist myth that has engulfed the media and the political right. How religious extremists is reclaiming power. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that religion playing into not just here but across the world as well. We covered that story yesterday about giving big fines to firms like X and promoting hate. The video's dropping on this either today or tomorrow, but for members, it's already available on my piece. Covered the My Government Must Quit Twitter and call out Elon Musk. Why I joined the Gaza Aid Flotilla as a journalist. And we've got deadly memes. Tyler Robinson's far right Pierre ties there as well. Peter Mandelson sacking his opportunity for Keir Starmer to rethink his Trump pandering. That's Alexander Hall there. And Peter Duke's piece on From Epstein to Starmer, mapping Peter Thiel's web of influence in the UK. Indeed, there. Just two today, guys. Just two. Oh, to be fair, I was expecting a sneeze considering the amount of the walking that I did today. So I always try to do 10,000 steps. I couldn't do it yesterday because I had so much to do, but I managed to make it count today. BBC accused of pro-reform bias as Lib Dem launched a campaign to end wall-to-wall forage coverage. I'm pretty sure I covered that in the video there as well. That's the silent genocide there. Councils face legal challenges for continuing to invest in firms accused of aiding genocide in Gaza. Oh, I've not seen that one. UK surveillance flights over Gaza. Are we Israelis useful idiots? Yes, we are. That is pretty much, I don't think that anyone can argue that there. So those are some of the pieces there from Byline Times. Let's see what the Telegraph is saying for us. Unfortunately, I can't open any pieces from the the Reform Telegraph, because they expect me to pay for their pieces, which I'm not prepared to do. Let's see what they're saying here, guys. So, first one in, one out migrant flight cancelled after protest, apparently. I've never felt like a toff, says Guinness Harris. Why Gen Zs are staying indoors for days. S&P could roll out taxpayer-funded mobile heroin vans. What? Taxpayer-funded mobile heroin vans. Okay. Remember, take everything with a massive, massive jar of salt when it comes to the from this paper. Trans women allowed to identify as women in a survey. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, they should be allowed to, like, leave trans women alone. Trump to go easy on in Battle Starmer during state visit. I don't know if he's going to be going easy on him or not. Duchess of Kent's funeral to be held in Westminster Cathedral. Russian forces kidnap Ukrainian children to build drones. Netanyahu boycotts will force the Israeli economy to become self-reliant. Conor McGregor forced to pull out of the Irish presidential race. Oh, the humanity! Oh, poor Conor. He couldn't get any nominations to run for Irish president, guys. Oh, what a shame. Maybe it's because he doesn't know anything about politics. Palestinians use jet skis to flee to Europe. Where the hell did they get jet skis from? Israel accuses Spain PM of anti-Semitism over the sports ban remark. No, it's not anti-Semitism. What you're doing is outrageous. But this is what they'll do. They'll hide behind their anti-Semitism every time they take criticism. They say, oh no, it's anti-Semitic. They always say that. CSA assaulted, re-recording rail slogans still baffling passengers. Like, what do passengers not understand? If you see something that doesn't right, speak to a member of staff or text the British Transport Police. On 01 something something something. Oh, sorry, I can't remember the rest of the number. But, yeah. Fat jabs changed the way food tastes. Weight loss jabs used as quick fix. Britain bans Israelis from prestigious military academy. Council in turmoil over 450-week fee to walk dogs in parks. Something tells me there's something a bit fishy about that headline. That's a bit fishy, if I'm honest. Green Council spends over 4k a year on tap water for meetings. I need to see that one because that sounds like propaganda there. That sounds like propaganda. Taxpayers foot £252 million bill for NHS to treat foreigners. Mobile consumption rooms Reganelite as it's working in the building ones. What's that got to do with heroin? What's that got to do with the drug heroin, Alistair, respectfully? They're just putting that in there to try and wind people up. They're safe hygienic spaces and save lives. They could test the stuff as well. That would be a bonus, says Billy Kershaw. Okay. I don't know too much about it. I can't open the links, guys, so unfortunately, I can't dive into them because the Telegraph want me to pay to look at their stuff, which I'm not prepared to do. Let's have a look at the Times. It's not as bad, but still problematic. Trump and Starmer, the 6 key topics that they will discuss. The first one in, one out deportation flight takes off without migrants. Well, that didn't work out very well. Dropping China spy charges will embolden our enemies, warn MPs. Higher threat level declared at Windsor Palace for president's arrival. Starmer condemns United Kingdom rally. It's plastic patriotism. It is plastic patriotism. That is a good word to describe it. Farage must stand up to pound shop Mussolini. Who on earth is she talking about? She's talking about Keir Starmer. Tommy Robinson's rally tally was far from right. You're right. They've been manipulated. Giles saying, according to your from his baby, were manipulated. Is the Labour leadership challenge a realistic prosperity? So Keir Starmer's authorities facing marketing after yet another scandal, but an alternative candidate such as Andy Burnham could struggle to force the contest. Touched on it a little bit, there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make a significant challenge if he does. Keir Starmer's aide resigns over Laura's Diane Abbott comments. Paul Oliver, the Prime Minister's Mayor Director of Strategy, leaves Downing Street in another blow after Peter Mandelson and Angela Rayner's departure. Ooh, need to read a bit more into that. All but impossible for PM to meet housing pledge as building slows. Only 30,000 homes have been built in the capital so far this year. Far fewer than they needed to help Sir Keir Starmer reach his target of 1.5 million. Yep, it's not going to happen. They're not going to reach that target. If they had, getting over 1 million is going to be hard enough as it is, but 1.5, yeah, just not going to happen. The US and UK share many essential values, yet we confound each other to forgetting some of our greatest attributes, says William Hague. And we talked about smacking, whether it should be banned or not, yesterday's live stream as well. Let's have a look at the front of the Times, see what they got on there. Builder helps steal Banksy to add to heart-themed art collection there. Baby reindeer style stalker has wrecked my life, says male victim. All but impossible for PM to meet housing pledge. Yeah, we looked at that already. Looked at the politics already. CSA Solid campaign being refreshed. Thames campaign has called for a ban on flimsy plastic pint cups. Why so few flats and houses are being built in London. Those are some of the stories there. Some Scottish stories. SNP childish for failing to showcase Scotland at big arms fair, apparently. Speak out asylum seekers evenly, says Glasgow Council head. Passengers summer complaints turn up the heat on ScotRail. Hollywood prepares to scrap. The Hollywood prepares to scrap not proven verdict there as well. That, and like I said, do take a tiny bit of a pinch of salt. Teenage boys spent more time gaming than at school, says research. I touched on this a little bit yesterday, and I said, yeah, I agree. I think that's not unfortunately, it's their one way to get away from the real world, which can be quite brutal for people. But everyone deals with video games differently. AstraZeneca pauses £200 million expansion of its Cambridge headquarters. Interesting. In-depth, how racist is rural Britain? I'm intrigued, but even I sense it. £3 million on a back bridge. No wonder everyone is in a flap. It's £3 million. Is that the back bridge that I'm told that we discussed? Is that linked to the HS2? Can't open it, unfortunately. They're all behind paywalls. Parents are not sorry. Why bigger words are better for apologies. Parents use 007 style devices to trace children taken into care. And private schools are hosting weddings to boost revenue after VAT increase. As if they don't have enough money as it is, the private schools. Nope. They don't have enough as it is, guys. Let's have a look at the Financial Times, see what they've got on the front of the UK here. Andy Burnham weighs a return to Westminster after Keir Starmer's missteps. The Greater Manchester Mayor is atop of the list for potential challenges to the Prime Minister. Can Ireland Stanley Care be a model for community care in the UK? There's a lot of opinion pieces there. Left-hand side, Starmer aides resigned. I have a message for Diane Abbott. Downing Street Strategy Director Paul Oliver quits after releasing messages about the veteran MP. So he said some nasty things about Diane Abbott. Well, he's right. He should go. Banks tighten their debt terms as squeeze UK universities refinance loans. Almost half of sector providers run a deficit at some institutions secure funding against campaign sites. US and UK pledge to boost financial ties ahead of Trump's state visit. Bank of England expected to slow balance sheet rundown after market turbulence. A monetary policy committee will announce on Thursday whether it's dialing back the pace of which it is cutting its gilt holdings. MPs protest as UK drop charges against 2 men accused of spying for China. Prosecutors have filed charges last year for breaches of the Official Secrets Act. Why drop? Why? Well, I'm generally curious. Why drop the charges on them if they've broken the Official Secret Act? Generally curious there. Let's go to the iPaper. I might be able to open up one or two of these maybe here. DWP imposes gagging order on disability experts ahead of PIP review. Non-disclosure agreements for advisory groups is a bad sign of disability benefit holds claimant. Disability benefits have been disability experts have been told that they must sign gagging orders before joining a panel advising the government over issues like welfare reforms. What? Labour's Disability Minister, Sir Stephen Trimms, is set to lead a review of the process used to assess people for personal independent payment, a key disability benefit worth up to £800 a month. Meanwhile, the Department of Work and Pensions is launching a new independent disability advisory panel, the IDAP, to share experiences on policy ideas such as the PIP review. But panel members have been asked to sign non-disclosure agreements, raising fears among PIP claimants that Labour's benefit changes will be designed in secret. Well, yeah, that's what it's going to be, because they're being asked to sign NDAs. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. I'm sorry, like why? How dare you say to them, "Oh yeah, you can take part in this, but you can't. You're not allowed to talk about it." This is so rude. Like, this is just absolutely disgusting. The DWP said the NDAs was needed to enable meaningful conversations since they may discuss sensitive information not in the public domain. Excuse me. This is bullshit. Trimms has promised a co-production with disabled people and disability rights groups that they are involved in helping shape the shake-up. Sorry, if enable meaningful conversations. Listen, if people don't want sensitive information, then you don't say sensitive information in the discussions. This is Labour's way of silencing people who want to speak out at it. This is what this is all about. However, James Cole, 47, a 47-year-old PIT claimant from Yorkshire, said the NDAs underscore a worry that good ideas to improve the system could be constrained by secrecy. Yeah. Mr. Cole, who suffers from bipolar disorder and a series of physical conditions, said he hoped promise of co-production meant disabled people actively shape the changes to PIP. The notion that contributors might be bound by confidentiality, especially via restrictive agreements, undermines that commitment. Mr. Cole said disabled people were still worried that the PIP spending cuts ditched in the summer could be reinstated down the line, depending on review, consultation, and political shifts. This is why Morgan McSweeney needs to go, because he wants to bring it. He wants to cut disability. He's not interested in actual disabled people. He's not interested in people on benefits. He's just interested about saving money. That's all he's interested in. The panel will separate from Trim's PIP review, being a more general advisory body on a range of disability issues. But the government has said expertise and insights will be shared between the advisory body and the PIP review process. Mike Ardress of Disability Rights UK told the iPaper it was unclear how many influences the 10 DIAP members may have over Trim's review. He said the gagging order was a bad sign for the PIP review. It's not the way you build trust. You can't pro-production under a veil of silence and secrecy, said Edahar. Labour government had wanted to cut welfare spending and reduce the number of people on PIP by pushing up the points needed to qualify. By July, June rebellion by backbenchers forced Keir Starmer to pull PIP from his benefit cuts until Trim's review takes place. The current PIP scoring system assesses how much some people are needed for mobility and daily living. 8 points are needed for the lower rate payment and 12 points are needed for the higher rate. The iPaper has previously reported on the horrific system used to decide on PIP claims. Whistleblowers said the points-based capability test could be rushed and superficial and could feel like catching people out. Disability rights groups have called for a less advisory process in which benefit assessors take time to get detailed information from medical specialists. Murray Gold's a 45-year-old PIP claimant from West Sussex whose epilepsy gave him dozens of seizures a month, adding, "I'm very concerned about my NDA relating to disability." He added, "I'm worried it could just be another way to redesign the PIP system in secret, to make the system even more difficult than it needs to be, whilst covering their tracks." Dr. Sally Witcher, who was a member of the advisory group on disability for the last Labour government, said the use of NDAs was heavily handed and sends alarm bells clanging. Trimms recently told the BBC podcast All Access that he envisioned a fairly small group of 10 disability experts will work with him on the PIP review. Labour minister said that they would work very closely with me and they would have a lot of sway over the form and the recommendations emerging in. The DWP spokesperson said the IDAP group of experts separate to the PIP review was just one of the ways we're putting the views of disabled people at the heart of our decision making. Asked about the NDAs, the spokesperson said, to enable meaningful conversation, we may need to share sensitive information or information that is not in the public domain during discussions. What sense? Like, I'm generally curious. I want to know, what is the sensitive information? What example? Can you give me examples of sensitive information that should not be shared with regards to it? Like, I'm generally curious. Like I generally would like to know what that is, because it sounds to me like a smokescreen for them. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a smokescreen for me. I fear the day I move back that I have to apply, says Indy Duck. Scott said, I wouldn't mind the idea of NDAs, but first let doctors be the ones that decide, not F-wits. Yeah. Stopping the decent experts having enough and spilling the bad ones doing. Would be gagged if now then. Yeah, gagged. Yeah, this I generally feel like it's trying to silence people. Meaning the changes won't be known until the paper arrives at the house, says Scott as well. Oh, they are going to try and find a way to cut it, Aliston. They are definitely going to find a way to cut it, that is for sure. Just being fortunate enough that I can read it. Teachers reject plans to send more children in mainstream school, polls show. Is this the same? This ain't the same one that I covered. Teachers told parents. Joint parents of Labour MPs having major doubts about the direction of ministers' special needs forms reform, new research suggested. Teachers are opposed to key components of the government's controversial plans for tackling special education needs and disability crisis. A new polling shared by the iPaper suggests ministers have said they want to move towards a SEND system where most needs are met with mainstream rather than special schools, and are looking at phasing out the needs for individual education, health and care plans. It's EHCPS's research involved more than 70,000 teachers by Teacher Tap, a respected organisation used by Ofsted and City by the Department of Education, suggested that the profession takes a very different view in a new blow to ministers' plans. So they want to phase out special schools for special children. I hate that idea. It's because of special schools that I got through what I went through when I was younger. That's terrible. Study found that increasing the number of state special school places was the most popular change that the government could make to send school system among teachers, and that removing EHCP as a way of funding pupils' special needs was one of the least popular. He used the process known as comparative judgment to produce a rank order of solutions rather than percentages that come from traditional polling, but the finding was clear. Teacher Tap co-founder Laura has warned that if the government wants to head in the direction that's away from EHCPs and special schools and towards mainstream inclusion and less specialised planning, then it will need to be ready to robustly defend and explain those policies to even begin to win people over, as they're unlikely to be the ones that teachers are hoping for. Education ministers are due to release their plans for the reforming SEND this autumn in the school's white paper. They are already under pressure from parents who have launched a campaign to fight against a change that would restrict or abolish the CPs, and Labour MPs who fear the political consequences. Yeah, don't get rid of the special schools. Really, really don't do that. They'd be really, really bad if they do. Starmer's Trump plans into disarray. This is how experts think he can save it. Big read. Starmer noticed that PM allies turn on Burnham over leadership plot. Starmer's fortnight from hell is worsens as top aide quits and MPs grow restless there. I'm not surprised that some people would turn on Andy Burnham there because of talk of him potentially going after the top spot. State pension to rise by more than £500 a year from April under the triple lock. First deportation flights to France stall after last-minute challenge. What is the last-minute challenge? First flights carrying Channel migrants back to France after Keir one in, one out has not gone ahead as planned, according to reports. Reported that one migrant who was due to be flown from Heathrow to Paris on Monday night had their flight postponed amid the threat of legal action. It added that the Home Office was still planning to put him on a flight on Tuesday today. Times reported that last-minute legal challenges by lawyers acting on behalf of several migrants due to be reported this week had been seen at their removal delay. The paper said the claims submitted by one migrant due to fly to Paris today had argued their experience of being tortured and trafficked should prevent them from being returned to France. But you're not being... Are you saying you're being tortured and trafficked in France? Is that what you're claiming? Government sources the first deportation flights under the deal with France are expected to take place this week. Earlier on Monday, Skills Minister Baroness Jackie Smith refused to say how many people will be returned this week under the deal. Asked why she could not say how many people the government expects to return in the coming days, she told Times Radio, "I've been clear, we're not going to talk about the details of the numbers that are going to be removed this week. But the consequences of part of the action the government is taking to tackle the problem of illegal migration, particularly that which I understand people are concerned about and related to those that are coming across the channel on small boats. She later told Sky News, we're not going to be talking about specific numbers or specific timings. The French have reportedly said that they will only be accepting an small initial contingent of deportations. Ministers previously said the scheme will be ramped up the number of deportations over time. Pilot scheme will see the UK send back to France asylum seekers who have crossed the channel in exchange for those who applied and are approved to come to Britain. Reports suggest that the removal directions have been issued to those who arrived in the UK on small boats last month, telling them they will be deported within 5 days. The number of migrants arriving in the UK after crossing the English Channel have topped 30,000 so far this year. It's the earliest point in the calendar year which 30,000 mark has been passed since data on the crossing which first reported in 2018. Like, if the thing is that if you're going to face this is another reason why the likes of Reform and that want to leaving the ECHR, so because they want to get rid of these courts challenges. They basically don't want them to have any due process whatsoever. They don't want these people to have any due process at all. That's the stories from the iPaper there. Let me have a quick look, see what you guys say. £500 will just make up for the price rises, says Alison Keir. Person says, I think mental health is an issue that gets the least public sympathy. It's an invisible disability. They have this dumb idea that people can toughen up out of real distress. Yeah, it is something that's not talked about, and that's not talked about enough. Although I will say that the West Streeting in the run-up to the general election talked about mental health in the NHS, and they've mentioned mental health quite a few times in the NHS in government as well. So I wouldn't say it's completely ignored by this government, but obviously they need to turn a lot of that talk into action. The light-hearted banter is welcome here. Yeah, any light-hearted banter is always welcome. Yeah, of course. I think the aim is to dismiss many mental health claims for what the government dismisses as minor problems as person impersonator. Scott says these things are happening in a lot of Euro countries too, just not as advanced, he says there. I blame you lot if I take the wrong turn going to my meeting in Nevada. They're located next to a piece of their name, or do I? Says Indie Duck. Are you getting directions from chat where to go, just out of curiosity? Right, let me go to the next story, guys. Just a reminder that we finish at 12 o'clock, just for reference here. Let's have a look. UK politics. Former Tory Minister Marina Clubfield defects to Reform. Another defection. It's just literally just happened. So Marina Clubfield defects to Reform as Nigel Farage claims another former Tory minister. Pressure on Kemi Bagnall says Conservative becomes the latest to join Nigel Farage's party. It's happening even more. So the former health minister, Marina Clawfield, has become the latest Conservative politician to defect Reform in another blow for Kemi Bagnall. Comes less than a day after the shock defection of sitting Conservative MP and Shadow Minister Danny Kruger to Nigel Farage's party. Miss Clawfield, who was a Conservative MP for nearly a decade, is the 13th ex-Tory MP to join Reform as it leads Labour in the polls. She told GB News, if you are Conservative right-minded, then the future is Reform. This country is going to change a lot. Same people who have thought that Brexit would not happen think that Reform will not happen. They are in for a shock. She added, I have joined. My husband joined a few months ago, and I joined a month ago. She's the latest in a series of high-profile ministers to join the party, a move which will put pressure on Miss Bagnall in a week in which her MPs want her to capitalise on Sir Keir Starmer's woes, not have to deal with her own. Thank you for the £2 super chat, just to get another £2 super chat there to thank you for them, Alison Keir. That's very generous of you. Russell Cannon, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Martin Hara, good to see you there as well. We all had to sign Sony NDAs when they shut our studio down and forfeit our redundancy. We all compared notes in our meeting and many posted details on social media. Nothing happened, said Martin. No, they could always just make themselves anonymous, and in doing so as well, to do that as well. And thank you, Alison Keir, for helping reach today's super chat goal. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for that. It's very kind of you. Vote Reform, get Tory. It's a hostile takeover bid. Don't you just love free market economics, says Billy Croshaw. Yeah, if you vote Reform, you get Tory. Yeah. She added, I have joined. My husband joined a few months ago and I joined a month ago. She's the latest in a series of high-profile former ministers to join the party, a move which puts pressure on Kemi Badenoch in the week that which her MPs want to capitalise on Keir Starmer's woes, not to have to deal with our own. On Monday, Ms Kruger said there was crisis in the country. Yep, we know about that. He said Britain is not broken, but it's badly damaged and it's something he's got to give. Asked about the defection of Kruger, Tory leader came out said the party's not going to get blown off course by these sorts of incidents. Nadine Dorries also recently joined Reform, declaring that the Conservative Party is dead. Former Tory MPs, including Dame Andrea Jenkins, Marco Londi, and former Tory chair Sir Jake Berry, among those high-profile defectors as well. But yep, the numbers are piling up. Shadow Chancellor Mel Shrive insisted Mr Kroger was profoundly wrong to say the Conservative Party are over when defective Reform UK. Mel Shrive is like the speaker for he takes a lot of brunt force for the Conservatives, he will say. Asked about this, he said, well, he's profoundly wrong. I'm sorry to see Danny go, but his analysis is wrong. We don't have an election now for another 4 years. Certainly the case, we had a devastating defeat about a year ago. We've lost that connection with the electorate, that trust for the electorate. It's also true it'll take us time to rebuild that. You know, something called an apology would be a good start, you know. Stride said the Conservatives are now holding the government ruthlessly to account. I'm sure you are. It would help rebuild trust between the party and the public. Last year, Ms Cloverfield, the vaccine minister, spoke of the overwhelming number of death threats she had received. She told MPs that the threat on her life rose every time in the House of Commons discussed jabs. And this is obviously there's still more information looking to come out on this. But yes, Marina, another defection to Reform UK from the Conservatives there, guys. Hundreds of firms warned guidance on single-sex basis is unworkable. It's an exclusive from The Independent. Hundreds of firms cause significant economic harm. More than 650 organisations have urged Bridget Phillipson to take immediate action to prevent these proposals from moving forward. Yeah, it's going to cause absolute chaos for so many people if they go ahead with it. So 650 organisations, including Ben & Jerry's, Lush and hundreds of small cafes and pubs have written to the government to warn that the Equality and Human Rights Commission draft guidance on single-sex basis is unworkable and will cause significant economic harm, The Independent understands. The guidance has been drafted after the Supreme Court ruled that trans women are not legally women under the Equalities Act 2010 earlier this year, a judgment that was hailed as victory for biological women and gender-critical campaigners. But there are concerns that the ruling and the EHRC's draft guidance could leave transgender people excluded from public life. It will! It will! The draft guidance was submitted for consultation over the summer, warns that if the service is provided only to women and trans women or only to men and trans men, it is not a separate sex or single-sex service under the Equalities Act 2010. Leicester Centre Ministers for Women and Equalities Bridget Phillipson and Peter Secretary Vince Carr warned that the final guidance is similar to the draft. It would tell organisers that they must adopt practices that are incompatible with modern business values. It called on Ms Phillipson to take immediate action to prevent these proposals from moving forward. The EHRC has shared its updated code for practice for services public functions association with the Equalities Minister for approval after a consultation that took place over the summer, but in theory Ms Phillipson could reject the draft and ask the EHRC to redraft it. It comes after sources told the Times that the final guidance will tell schools, hospitals, leisure centres and cinemas to ban trans women from using single-sex spaces such as lavatories and changing rooms. Letters signed by more than 650 organisations including Ben & Jerry's, Lush, Lucy and Lack and hundreds of small cabs and pubs says, the undersigned business organisations are writing to express our deep concern that proposals seeking to enforce blanket mandatory exclusion of trans people from gender spaces and services. The proposals made to the EHRC's draft code of practice under the Equalities Act would have serious far-reaching consequences for UK businesses, our employees and our customers. Any final code similar to this draft will tell organisers that we must adopt practices that are incompatible with modern business values, create unworkable operational challenges that cause significant economic harm. It adds, many of us have spent years building inclusive environments where all customers and staff feel safe and welcome. These proposals would tell us to act in ways that directly contradicts those commitments, undermine trust, damage reputations, and risking the loss of valued staff and customers. They also express concerns that proposals will put them at consistent risk of complaints and litigation from multiple directions, as well as forcing business staff into unacceptable roles of gender police. Such practices are not only deeply invasive, but likely impossible to implement without breaching Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, which protects rights to privacy and risks discriminating against valued trans customers and their colleagues, he added. This is very good. This is very well put together, this piece here, pointing out, I'm very glad this has been pointed out here from them. This was well needed to be put out. The organisations have expressed concerns that for many businesses, compliance with the guidance would mean that costly changes to facilities such as retrofitting spaces or converting them entirely to gender-neutral spaces. Yeah, this is what I see. Unfortunately, if this gets pushed through, if they force this through, which I hope they don't, you're going to see a lot more gender-neutral spaces in a lot of places. That's exactly what's going to happen, unfortunately. The men and women toilets are going to start evading, are going to becoming evasive, a thing in the past, and you're going to see more and more gender-neutral toilets in most places. That's what you're going to see because they won't want to deal with the hassle of all this. They're not going to want to deal with all this. Like this is going to be too much for them. And so what they'll end up doing is basically saying, screw it, we're not going to have men's and women's toilets, we're just going to have gender-neutral toilets. We're going to get rid of the urinals, and basically everyone's got to have cubicles. Which is not ideal for men, because men just like to use the urinal and just go on. But if we're not going to have them, yeah, it's going to be a problem, guys. For small and medium-sized enterprises in particular, the financial burden could be severe and threaten economic viability for some. Yeah, and and where are they going to find the money to make all these changes as well? Like, they think they're just going to pull money out of their asses, some of them. Compliant costs like this would have significant impact on businesses across the country, which many can ill afford, right, they said. And you're right now, people are, it's not exactly like it's not like business is booming right now, for a lot of people. So, yeah, I'm glad that so many people basically, businesses have come in and basically said, yeah, you can't just do this. You're going to, fundamentally upset a lot of businesses. So, whether or not she will take that on board, I don't know. But, they want to be on the side of business. They need to listen to business. Clegg says US voices want to turn UK into little MAGA Britain. Stop Trump group issues warning ahead of President State's visit. Yep, they're planning a massive protest for his welcome. Farage claims most stable relationship between men and women. I've talked about that already because he's a moron. So what exactly did he say about Paul Oliverton say about Abbott? What did he say? Former journalist worked as Labour more than a decade, reportedly exchanged emails with a colleague that time, including sexual explicit remarks about Miss Abbott. In a statement to ITV News, he said, I'm accused of 8 years ago of a junior press officer sharing with a female colleague the details of silly conversation that I was at a party with other female staff members. Before summer, I announced some of my colleagues my intention to leave government. Though the messages long predate my current employment and relationship with the Prime Minister, I put forward my resignation to avoid distraction from vital work the government's doing to as my advisor and duty to protect the reputation of the Prime Minister who's government. While it's chilling that a private conversation from a decade ago can do this sort of damage, I'm truly deeply sorry for it and the hurt it will cause. Well, if you're sorry for it, you should never have done it. Government spokesperson said the messages are appalling and unacceptable. As the first black woman to be elected in Parliament, Diana Abbott, trailblazer, faced horrendous abuse throughout our political career. These kind of comments have no place in the politics. Doesn't say what the comments he made exactly. Just trying to see what the comments exactly he said. What did he exactly say in the comments? They're not telling us what exactly the comments were, unfortunately. I generally wanted to know what the comments were that did it, but it's not said. It doesn't say in the article. UK to deploy RF jets to Poland after Russian drone incursion. What is at stake? As Starmer babysits Trump through the state visit. Yep, you've got to babysit him. You've got to babysit him. Yeah, it's your job to babysit him now, Keir Starmer. M60 police incident see motorway delays of up to 2 hours. More rain to lash in UK after Met official warning. Talked about the weather already. Crypto coins, merch, and Musk. How Tommy Robinson pulled off huge march. Starmer dodges grilling over Manson sacking. Everything you need to know about checking and getting a pension state. Spider season has arrived. Are there more than usual in your home? Can't see any at the moment, but I will keep my eye out. 1 million children to be hit by the 2-child benefit cap. Oh, no. 1 million children in working families are to be hit by the devastating 2-child benefit cap. I'm a taxpayer and my children will grow up and pay tax, but when they need support now, they're deserted. More than 1 million children in working families are set to be affected by the 2-child cap. New analysis has revealed as Labour faces renewed pressure to scrap the controversial policy. Despite having at least one parent in work, thousands of families are struggling to afford the essentials as key benefits don't extend to their third child or beyond, a report by the Child Poverty Action Group CPAG has found. The cap, introduced under Conservative welfare reforms, blocks parents from claiming a child element of universal credit worth £292.81 a month for a further subsequent child born after April 2017. Latest figures show that around 1.7 million children are now affected by the policy, where CPAG estimated it will reach 1 million children in working families alone in October. This means around 60% of affected households contain at least one working parent. Research by the anti-poverty charity points out that a lone parent with 3 children who works full-time on minimum wage is currently £4,500 a year under the poverty line. If the two-child benefit cap was scrapped, that would be £3,500 better off and £1,000 a year under the line. Even a lone parent in this situation on medium earning is £2,000 under the poverty line, the findings show, while scrapping the cap would put them £1,500 over the line. CPAG has renewed its call for the government to scrap the controversial measure, pointing out that it would immediately lift 350,000 children out of poverty at the cost of the Treasury of £2 billion. Charity's chief executive has said the two-child limit its parents is dancing on a pin, trying to work as much as they can, raise their children and pay the bills, but the sums don't add up. These are the families that work in our schools, our hospitals, our job centres and services, and the strain on the two-child limit on them is intolerable. The government must commit to scrapping the policy on its forthcoming child poverty strategy, or there will be more children in poverty at the end of this parliament than when it took office. Shania and her partner have 3 children, but under the two-child limit, their youngest does not receive universal credit support. She left her job last year to care for her autistic son while her husband works full-time. Quote, the two-child limit is the difference between us being in debt and not. We have utilised debt and at the end of the month we have to use credit cards just to keep living, she said. I don't expect to be on universal credit. No one wants to be. And I don't expect to be on benefits forever. But no one knows what's going to happen to them. Another affected parent who remains anonymous said, I'm a taxpayer and my children will grow up and pay tax. But when they need support now, they're deserted. The findings from CPAC comes as the government faces renewed calls from both opposition and backbench Labour MPs to scrap the two-child benefit cap. And last week, a group of 33 MPs led by Labour member Kim Johnson wrote to the government calling for an end to the devastating policy. This was followed by a similar letter by Steve Darling, Liberal Democrats work and pension spokesperson, alongside 54 MPs. The government will be publishing its delayed strategy to tackle child poverty later this year, which is said will be ambitious. Chancellor has every opportunity this autumn to do the right thing, commit to ending the cap within the new budget, as Liberal Democrat colleagues and I have recently implored her to do. The upcoming child poverty strategy won't be worth the paper it is written on if it does not include a meaningful commitment to ending the cap. Anything less will lead to a cycle of children being pushed into poverty continue. I don't know, guys. I just don't know if they're going to do it. We'll have to wait and see, I'm afraid. Anything else worth covering? Grand Theft Auto 6 Live, Rockstar Games. It will be the largest game launch in history. Oh, if only I had a computer that could play it. I miss my days of playing Grand Theft Auto. Consistently stealing cars, causing trouble, and getting chased by the police non-stop. Anything else here? There's probably some of this old stools. AI models are struggling to identify hate speech study finds there as well. Some interesting stories there from The Independent. They do have some interesting stories, that's for sure. Let me have a quick look what you guys are saying in the chat. Valid indie rather than tied up out of my way, says Scott. It's no fun ending up on the floor and no one reaching it, says Indie Duck. Great. How Canada effed up a US Greenland in it. Good on Canada. And there. You guys talking about something else there, it looks like. Trump's arrival at Windsor. Oh, Trump's arrival at Windsor, is he? Yeah, let's not look at that, guys. Let's not look at that. I'm sure Max is going to cover it in all of its glory later on in his live stream. All right, let's have a look at the BBC here. Actually, I'll just refresh it just for sake. I've just literally refreshed it. Reform UK amplifies jitters for Labour and the Conservatives. For Victorian Minister reform defects, we just saw there. Hillsborough law will include a duty of candour. PM will never have appointed Mandelson. Thousands of opted deaths missed off the official figures. How has that happened? Google owner reveals $5 billion AI investment in the UK ahead of Trump's visit. Yeah, this is something they're going to be talking a lot about. This world's fourth biggest company, Google owner Alphabet, has announced a $5 billion, a 6.8 investment in our UK's artificial intelligence. The money will be used for infrastructure and scientific research over the next 2 years. First of several massive US investments being unveiled ahead of US President Trump's state visit there. Musk language is abhorrent, says the Home Secretary. It's weird that Yvette Cooper's not the Home Secretary anymore. Still find that weird. Being Deputy Prime Minister is a ghastly job, apparently. Let's have a look at the front of UK. Winterfield payments fell by 9.3 million before U-term. What's that mean by U-term? Number of people who received Winterfield payments plunged to 1.3 million following controversial cuts by the government, new figures revealed. In the previous year, about 11 million people in England, Wales and Scotland received the payment, which helped pensioners recover winter energy bills. But a Treasury decision to means test the payment led to much lower number of recipients last year, new officials from the Department of Work and Pensions show. That policy has now been scrapped by a U-turn by the Chancellor in June, meaning that the vast majority of pensioners will again get their payments worth up to £300 per household this coming winter. That will make a difference to people's lives. That'll make a massive difference to people's lives. Yeah, I'm glad she U-turned on it, but still, it was ridiculous to do it in the first place. Kenya issues arrest warrant for British nationalist over young mother's murder. State pension likely to rise by 4.7% in April. Duchess of Kent coffin brought by Cathedral. JLR faces disruption until November after a hack. What is this story a bit more about? So more than 13,000 heroin and optic deaths have been missed off official statistics in England and Wales, raising concerns about the impact of the government's approach to tackling addiction. Research from the King's College London, shared exclusively with BBC News, found that there were 39,232 Opted-related deaths between 2011 and 2022, more than 50% higher than previously known. The area has been blamed on the government's official statistics body not having access to postmodern reports or toxicity results. Data on specific drug deaths is a major drive of policy, and it's understood the government is now working on corridors to improve the reporting of deaths. Number of opioid deaths per million in England and Wales has almost doubled since 2012, but this new study means the scale of the problem is likely to be even greater. Researchers at the National Programme of Substance Use Mortality at the King's use data for concerns to calculate more assumption estimated of optic-related deaths there. The Liberal Democrats have said the urgent investigation of how the error needs to be made as well. Yeah, that is very concerning as well. Yeah, how does that happen? Oh, stop messaging me. Someone's messaging me. Oldest post office scandal victim questions PM's dismissal of minister. That's 6 days ago. That's too old, that is. So got about 6 minutes left. Let's have a quick... We still got Sky News and Guardian to have a look at. So let's see what we've got left here, guys. We stop at 12 o'clock just for reference here, guys. And a reminder, I'll be back live at 6 p.m. Later on as well, guys, just for reference as well. Starmer under pressure as MPs to debate Mandelson appointment and Epstein links. PM angry over Mandelson scandal as emergency debate set to ramp up pressure. Landmark Hillsborough law finally introduced. Another Tory MP defects to reform. Starmer's AI superpower dream without risk, without urgent changes. Industry warns, and exclusive from them. Starmer was aware of the risk of appointing the Prince of Darkness as his man in Washington to an extent, says the analysis piece. No, he knew. He knew. But it wasn't directly just him. It was Morgan McSweeney as well. What else we got here? Google makes £5 billion pledge. We looked at that already. Inside the massive security operation for Trump's UK visit, it's going to be massive. Another Tory MP defects. Sky to cut about 6,000 tech jobs. You're doing your part, Scott. Sky News is doing their part, cutting jobs in their area as well, guys. They're doing their part as well. And 5 o'clock today is Witchy Goth is going live at 5 o'clock on her channel, so do check out her content as well. Just for reference as well, guys. I don't know how long she's going to go live for, but she'll be going live at 5 o'clock, so do check out her work as well. I think that's everything from Sky News there. We've got about 4 minutes left, so let's have a look at The Guardian just before we head out. I'm just going to refresh the page. Marina Clawfield, former Health Minister, defects to reform. We talked about that already. UK public has paid £200 billion to shareholders of key industries since privatisation studies. We, taxpayers, have paid £200 billion to shareholders. If my voice wasn't battered, I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs over this. Analysis revealed privatisation premium of $250 per household per year paid to owners of water, rail, bus, energy and mail services since 2010. Jesus. Donald Trump's state visit to the UK. Big pharma firms have paused nearly £2 billion in the UK investment this year. For some minorities, Britain's the United rally shows far-right politics is becoming legitimised. It is. It is becoming legitimised thanks to the likes of thanks to the mainstream media. It's because of the mainstream media amplifying Nigel Farage. That's why. So it's the mainstream media's fault that it's been there. Westminster's hardened attitudes to immigration are leading anti-racist campaigns to warn that a far-right UK government stop sending me messages are no longer seeming unthinkable. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the reality that we are facing here. Front of the UK here on the Guardian here. No worries, Stephen Banker. That's fine. Kenya seeks arrest of former British soldier over alleged murder of Anis Waldu. High Court judge issues arrest warrant saying that a suspect has been charged in relation to a 2012 death of a 21-year-old. Jaguar Land Rover extends production shutdown after cyber attack. Scottish Parliament to vote on scrapping legal verdict of not proven. UK labour market cools as pay growth slows and job losses rise. Big pharma firms have paused nearly £2 billion in UK investment this year. £2 billion! Government plans in disarray before Trump's talks with MSD. Elias Qatar move job prompt fears. Big pharmaceutical companies have ditched or paused nearly £2 billion in planned UK investment so far this year, causing suffering to patients. Ministers gear up discussions for Donald Trump and a row over the drug pricing. 2 days later, AstraZeneca decided to halt a planned £200 billion. Oh, yeah. That's not ideal. It's not ideal. What else they've got here? That's UK politics. We looked at a little bit there. UK could raise nearly £2 billion by taxing SUVs in line with European countries, study has shown. Think tank says that SUVs loopholes mean UK buyers pay up 20 times less tax on biggest models than in neighbouring nations. Taxing Britain's SUVs in line with other European countries could raise almost £2 billion a year from public finance, research has shown. Transport Environment think tank has urged the government to use this autumn budget to bring in a levy on the largest vehicles, which it says will reflect the damage that it's caused to the environment and infrastructure. T&E said the current UK vehicle tax system was not keeping up with the change to the profit of cars sold, with heavier and more polluted cars escaping inadequate taxation and coming to dominate the market. An SUV loophole meant buyers pay up to 20 times less on the biggest model than its counterparts in other European countries, it said. Vehicle tax on the 85,000 BMW X5 would amount to 3,200 in the UK. But the sale would incur taxes of 66,600 in France, driving UK SUV sales to 4 times the level in France. Interesting. I don't know enough about cars, so I'll have to let you guys comment on that one. And those are expert analysis pieces there. So before my voice entirely goes, because it is a bit sore, there, I want to say massive thank you to everyone who's come along today. Thank you, Alison Keir, for your super chats to reach today's super chat goal. Hope you found some of that news interesting and informative. You might hear some more about some of that stuff later on. I'll be back in 12 hours, in about 6 hours' time at 6 p.m. for global news. I'll be covering news from around the world. I may touch on Donald Trump's visit to the UK, but I'm not going to cover it too much. But too much of it if I can help it. But It is going to be wild news anyway, but I might touch on it later on today. But just a reminder as well, Witchy Goth will be going live at 5 o'clock, so if you can join her, please do. And Max will be going live later on at 8:30 as well, so if you can join any one of them, it would be greatly appreciated. But I am done here, guys, so thank you guys once again for coming. Thank you guys for all your comments, but before you head out, if you can, please hit that like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this. Subscribe if you haven't to already. Do check out Rumble and Patreon. There's exclusive content for free, dropping on those platforms if you can. And also, if you want to financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. So thank you all so much for watching. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.